SSRG, Sheffield Steel Roller Girls, first formed in August 2008, so they've been going for just over 3 years. I first heard about Sheffield Steel Roller Girls when I went to a tattoo convention. I've been skating now for just over a year. I just really enjoy skating and just skating around and hitting people and pushing people off the track, and even being hit myself and even going flying is all fun. It took me a long time to come up with the name Billie Viper. I tried loads of different sort of combinations of things that sounded a bit mean. It's a good thing to go for the names that are kind of a play on words of a famous person. I quite like Doctor Who, you know, Billie Piper, Billie Viper. Yeah, why not? I thought I'll go with that. My equipment has been quite expensive, I think. I'm on my second pair of skates already. My skates cost me £215, and then to get a decent set of pads, you're looking at £70 for the knee pads, and then a bit less than that for the elbow pads, £30 to £40 for a decent helmet, because a good helmet is so important, because you definitely only get one brain. And then, of course, there's the wheels, and, you know, they're £70 for a set of wheels, and everybody wants like 3, 4, 5 sets of wheels. And then there's the bearings that go with them, and they're expensive too, and it takes over, and there's always something else that you want. How do you score points? Okay, well, first of all, I'll have to explain to you that we have a nice round track here. That's the track. We have the pivot line, we have the jammer line. On the pivot line, we have the pivot from one team and the pivot from another team. Then we have 3 more blockers from each team. Behind the pivot line, behind the pivots. Then behind the jammer line, we have the 2 jammers. They're very important because they're the ones that score the point. So when the first whistle goes, all the blockers, pivots, they move off round the track. When the last blocker has passed over that pivot line, the second whistle goes, and then the jammers start. Now what they have to do is get through the blockers, then go all the way round the track again to come through the blockers again. Now at this point, the blockers are trying to help their jammer through and stop the other jammer getting through at the same time, which is where all the blocking and all the shoving off track comes in. It's only on their second pass that they actually score points. They score a point for every opposition blocker they pass legally. That is without incurring a penalty because they've cut the track or because they've used their elbows. So they can score 4 points in that pass, but if they lap the jammer as well, then they can score a 5th point. When I'm not doing this, I'm a teacher. I work at a school in Rotherham. I teach media studies, which is, without doubt, absolutely the most fun subject you can possibly teach. But having said that, it is quite stressful. It is long hours. There's a lot of marking. There's a lot of extra work to do other than just being in the classroom teaching. I do find working with a lot of teachers tends to be a little bit stressful because I have been told perhaps I'm not quite your typical teacher. I maybe have different views on education and the sort of things we should be doing and what constitutes a positive role model. There are people that might suggest roller derby isn't something that's going to create positive role models for young people. A sport started by women, run by women. It's a very friendly sort of sport that anybody can join. It's very inclusive. What more positive role model could you have than that? But yeah, I've got the calendar that we've put together. That's up on the wall, and students keep asking, they say, "Miss, that looks a bit like you." It's like, well, yeah, that is me. And they're mostly quite surprised, haven't heard of roller derby before, and think it's like a really interesting thing to do, and usually want to know a bit more about it, and usually seem quite interested. I do sometimes find it a little bit hard trying to balance the teaching and the roller derby. Quite often there tends to be sort of almost a seasonal thing with work as well, in that a lot of late nights through the winter, and then April, May time is when we get all the exams, and so a lot of work, a lot of exam extra revision classes through that time, when really, ideally, what I'd want to be doing is focusing on skating. But I think it's
really important to do this because it's so helpful to relieve stress, to make me feel calmer, to actually help me be able to approach work from the point of view of being much less stressed. This helps so much that I wouldn't want to not do it. I'm on my way to the bout in Oldham. I am absolutely appalling at finding my way anywhere, so I'm picking up somebody else who's skating with me, and hopefully she can direct us and make sure we actually get there. So I'm just sat in the car park waiting. I haven't really done a great deal to psych myself up. I had an early night, made sure I didn't drink anything except plenty of water. I've not really been able to eat too much today. Hopefully I'll make up for that later with chips or some cake maybe. Sure, I've been adding too much to anything today. I feel that I've not been hitting or blocking quite as well as I should have done. I know the jam has snuck past me a couple of times, which is not good. I'm going to try in the second half to be a bit more offensive, hit people a little bit more, not be scared to get stuck in. Score prediction 121.73 to the push. I'm kind of disappointed not to win. Finishing on 69 though, hey, not bad. Personally, I played much better in the second half. By the end, I was really getting into the hang of hitting some big ones. I can feel proud of myself. Broken in the orange now. But I had fun, so I don't really care. I'm fine with it. We'll win the next one.